reminder, if you need PvP coaching, I'm on Medify. So just click that link in the video description to visit my page. What's up, guys? Got another video for you today. This time I'm with the times. I'm playing Remix instead of Open, so this is a fun little Remix team. With Shadow Gramble again. Still tired of the Darks. I really wanted to try it out, and my new toy spent 400,000 dust and a ton of XLs building this Diggersby, though. So very excited to see what it could do in the Remix meta, where I think it actually has is a pretty good fit. But first of all, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Could not be doing this without you guys. Yeah, let's get right into this gameplay video. Oops, a little bit of a preview there, getting that the charm action going. So this team, also an ABB team. We have Shadow Gramble, Shadow Flygon, as well as Diggersby. I think the least important, because I know you guys are all going to ask this, because Shadow Flygon has not been available in forever. Shadow Flygon is probably the most replaceable part of this team. The core here is Gramble and Diggersby. As long as you can find a pretty good safe swap that works, I feel like this team can work. You could run it with just a traditional safe swap and play it as a balanced team, or Shadow Flygon turns this into more of an ABB team. So if you run a ground type, you can kind of play that ABB style as well. If not, then just staying with Shadow Gramble and trying to win switch for your core in your back line. But in this case, we are running ABB, so if you do pick another ground Pokemon instead, maybe like a Whiscash or something like that as the safe swap instead of Flygon, you can basically play it the same way, I guess, as what I'll be describing in this video. Let's take a look at some of the moves. Obviously I have Charm on Shadow Gramble here. We've got Dragon Tail on the Flygon. Mudshot was okay too, but I figured you could do a little bit more fast move pressure, go along with the theme of the team. Then we do have Diggersby as well. Diggersby is an absolute tank. In this case, I'm running it as a closer because of its bulk. And we're going to run Earthquake. Look at this. Sorry. You just tanked a Focus Blast from Hypno. Like, no problem. And then another move, because it's going to be a Thunder Punch. But yeah, Diggersby, very tanky. In this case, we're running Earthquake as the closer. If we're running a safe swap Diggersby, I honestly think Hyper Beam is being severely underutilized on Diggersby right now. So we'd probably be running that. But in this case, right, Diggersby is going to be lined up with those Nidoqueens in the back. You're going to want to have Earthquake. It doesn't make sense. All right, let's get into gameplay. We have a Greedent lead. I wasn't sure how to play these yet because this was still very brand new. But I swapped to try and catch a Body Slam on Shadow Flygon. Fortunately, switching allows this Greedent to get to multiple moves. They could have actually thrown 2 Body Slams there and kind of forced me to shield. In this case, I decided to no shields. Figure that letting the Body Slam through is fine, but unfortunately they get an extra Bullet Seed, so now it is likely that my Gramble will eventually have to shield here. So I'm going to bring in my Diggersby and see what they want to do. Try and get a huge farm instead. Diggersby can tank this, no problem. Hypno comes in. They're going to throw this Earthquake. We're going to stay in for a little bit more too. I think they're trying to wait for me to switch so they can try and burn some shields with these punches. I'm going to do that. They throw a Thunder Punch. So no reason to shield there. Now I know it's Thunder Punch and either Shadow Ball or Focus Blast. They let their Hypno go down. In comes Greedent again. And like, look, Diggersby is already taking out a Hypno. It's pretty much going to take out a Greedent as well. This Pokemon is just bulky enough that it can deal with multiple threats. I'm going to go into Granbull, take down the rest of that Greedent, and then in comes Toxicroak. Luckily, it's not Poison Jab Toxicroak this time. Because Granbull's able to just take this. You only need 1 shield at this point. Shield the Sludge Bomb, and I still have a shield to spare. So, despite switching out of that lead kind of unfavorably, the team is just strong enough that I managed to win this game. I think quite the advantage, anyways. All right, Shadow Hypno lead. We're gonna switch out right away. Most of these have been running Thunder Punch, so Shadow Flygon and Diggersby are really safe against them in the back. I'd probably still shield Shadow Flygon if they shielded too, just because you might be worried about that Ice Punch. But they actually just go for the Thunder Punch. I don't shield that time. I figured I'd got shield advantage. That was fine for me. And Shadow Flygon is going to put me in the scenario where I can get 2 shields out of this switch, and I had to commit 0. And they don't have that much energy either. But I'm going to come with Diggersby, assuming that they actually have Shadow Ball there. But they're swapping to Froslass. I'm going to be able to get 2 Fire Punches off here, which is quite a bit of damage. It's not going to KO, but the reason this is important is now I can get into my Ground Ball and take down this Froslass without having to shield. And I'm able to keep these 2 shields for my Ground Ball. Spend 1 on this Hypno, on a Fire Punch, and then 1 for the last Pokemon, which is Mandibuzz here. Yeah, we're not even going to get to spend that shield. Yeah, this isn't one of the main reasons for Shadow Ground Ball in the first place. It's just all the Mandibuzz, all the Dark types. Froslass it beats too, only having to shield once. It's a great matchup. All these fighters, like, they're everywhere in Remix. The Charmer is absolutely set up. In this case, we have the Unova Stunfisk. I'm going to weaken it a little bit with these charms and then get right into Diggersby. I would like to save that Ground Ball for the Machamp, so just a nice thing to do. And Diggersby doesn't really have the same issues that G-Fisk has against these ground types as well, because it's not steel, it's not part steel type, it's not part electric type, it's not like a lot of these ground types, it's not part poison type. All these ground types, they're weak to ground, but not Diggersby. So kind of the king of ground types here. Even Whiscash, the water type, doesn't have a water type move, so Diggersby's fine against Whiscash too. But we decided to save the Diggersby. If they're going to swap in their, or bring in their Machamp like that, and they're going to swap in their U-Fisk like that, then I'm going to predict Diggersby is still going to be useful in the back. So I swapped to Shadow Flygon, grab a shield there. I'm going to no-shield this because at this point the Machamp is low enough to get mud-shotted down. But I'm going to come in with Ground Ball anyways, see what they do, and Shadow Magnezone. So unfortunately, there's a little bit of lag there. Really unsure how many sparks they got, but luckily I still have shields. I'm going to swap right away instead of throwing that mud shot. Sorry, close combat. Instead, I'm going to throw a bunch of mud shots, and then this Fire Punch. And hopefully this Machamp is within 1 hit of getting taken out. Perfect. So Ground Ball doesn't have to withstand a Cross Chop or a Rock Slide or anything like that. And I think it's out of move anyways, but I do think Machamp would win CMP there. Alright, Pidgeot lead. This is the new hot stuff. But yeah, Feather Dance not so good versus Charmers when you can kind of just shred through them. Even Ferrothorn, single resisting charm coming in. We're going to throw this close combat and then dip. Ooh, good CMP tie by them. Force a shield out. I know this Ground Ball will be useful later. Said I'd go into Diggersby. Diggersby's got Fire Punch. Pretty big deal. Probably should have went a little bit earlier. Because yeah, look how much damage those Power Whips do. But Diggersby actually does beat Ferrothorn in every shield scenario. I later found out, so I should have just swapped a little bit faster. This is your Ferrothorn counter. Ground Ball is fine too, but if they're running Mirror Shot, you have some real trouble. Either way, we're just going to take them out and not be able to get to a Fire Punch. Should probably charge 1 more. But still, Machamp is locked in versus Ground Ball. This is exactly what we want anyways. Pidgeot comes in, gets taken down. But yeah, now this Machamp is going to have to be able to farm down the Shadow Flygon. Otherwise, Ground Ball's just going to be able to charm it down in 1 more hit. And yeah, with the shield, I'm tapping with 4 fingers on my screen. I really need to get this charm through, otherwise they're going to double cross chop me. And my charm does sneak through, so the game is over. Yeah, I don't know if this has ever been stated by me, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this is superstition, but same vein as fast move denial. But on the other side, the more commands you force through, the more likely I think the game is to take your side. I don't think that's crazy. I think that kind of makes sense. So just tapping with 4 fingers just as fast as possible, forcing a move through. By the way, that was a 5-0. We're going to talk about how that was a 5-0. So first set ever using that team was a win. In this case, Gyarados is going to switch and catch an Aqua Tail so that I can preserve my shields for Ground Ball later. But unfortunately, the Superior comes in. Superior is very tanky. I don't get to Dragon Claw versus it because it's running Leaf Tornado first. And unfortunately, I didn't think Leaf Tornado would be enough to take out my Shadow Flygon, but Shadow Flygon is that squishy that it unfortunately was able to. So Ground Ball comes back in as it has to be the one that deals with Superior. Superior can kind of just wreck Diggersby here. And that's why I have to shield the Leaf Tornado to try and get that damage out on the Superior. In comes Diggersby, and guess what? They have double Diggersby counters, actually triple Diggersby counters on this team. So Diggersby had absolutely nowhere to go. Kind of makes sense that I'm gonna lose this game. So we're gonna no shield this. I'm kind of just staying in to see how much damage all this stuff does. I have not faced an Obstagoon yet, so I want to know how much damage this Earthquake does. And they don't let me, so we're gonna quit. But I'd assume it's similar to G-Fisk, so just over half or something like that. Like, it's not the best matchup, obviously, but it's not the worst either. Okay, we have Dewgong lead. Not a big fan of this. Dewgong lead forces you to take 2 shields. So what I'm going to do is just stay in, right? We have types weak to ice in the back. I can't switch to them. And I'm trying to CMP tie them. So their first icy wind is at 5 ice shards, but the second one is only at 4. So remember that. So try and CMP tie on that one. I'm going to grab a shield back. But if I want to keep switch, then I shield as well. In this case, I do. I'm planning on swapping out whatever comes in to clear the debuff. And it is a Tropius. So they're going to throw a Leaf Blade right away. I'm going to be able to sneak a Dragon Tail through, which means I'm going to get to 2 Dragon Claws for sure. And that's all I'll need to beat this Tropius with the 0 shield. Probably could throw in one more Dragon Tail even, but shouldn't matter too much. Except, yeah, then now I'm getting Diggersby down. I do my Grand Bull here to deal some damage. So I'm going to go into that first because I thought I could swap into the Diggersby to catch. Honestly, they should have just thrown a Fire Punch there to take out my Grand Bull because that's going to be the biggest amount of damage they can prevent with their energy. Because look at this. These Earthquakes to each other deal almost no damage. I'm going to go in with Fire Punches because they still have a shield. They call and no shield, which is a pretty impressive call, to be honest. But yeah, just gonna, once you fail the bait, you kind of just have to go for Fire Punches at that point. And I need to get it low enough that my Grand Bull can take it down before it gets to a Fire Punch after it takes out my Diggersby. So in this case, I'm surprised they have not shielded any of these Fire Punches. Gonna tank that Earthquake and then come with Grand Bull. So that was a very interesting Earthquake from them. I wonder if they didn't have Fire Punch at all, if they're running double nukes, so Earthquake and Hyper Beam. I think that's also a possibility for Diggersby. The nukes are just so good and it's tanky enough they can kind of get to them. It's like a Registeel, right? Okay, so Shadow Gramble, we have Registeel in the lead. Registeel you might think is pretty tough for Shadow Gramble, but it's not too bad. And Shadow Flygon does not have a good matchup versus Registeel. So I'm very glad they swapped out there. Trying to save the Registeel for their the Gramble. I know shield this, and they're actually baiting with Grass Knot, so this is going to allow me to win the 0 shield here. So I don't bait. Especially Moonblast Grass Knots, like you don't even save that much energy. Like what's the point? So we're just going to let it go down this time. Come back in with the Grand Bull, I believe. Because Diggersby does not appreciate those Grass Knots. Going to be able to take down that Crest. We now have shield advantage. Going to swap into Diggersby and see what they have in the back. And it is a Whiscash, so like I said earlier, water type versus ground type, you'd think it was bad, but the only thing you have to watch out for is Blizzard. And I kind of forgot that Whiscash had Blizzard. This was the first Whiscash I saw on the day. So yeah, maybe shield up one of those Blizzards if you want to keep your Diggersby around. In this case, I didn't really care too much. I'm just going to go for the Fire Punch. I look at the game, I see my win condition. My win condition is Shadow Gramble, 2 shield with Charm against this Registeel. I just need to get a Fire Punch through. They know it's a Fire Punch, so they don't shield it either. And they can't shield because if Gramble gets to close combat, it's over as well. But look how much damage these Charms do. They're not going to be able to get to 2 charge moves. Sorry, 3 charge moves before Gramble takes them down. It's not possible. Even 1 charge move would be a stretch from that HP. So just remember, if the Registeel is taking a little bit of damage and you have 2 shields and Gramble, you can very easily take that Registeel down. And that's without even throwing the Crunch for the defense drop. Alright, we're going to grab this Shadow Machamp lead. In comes Froslass. And this is what you'd love to see Froslass switch in. You just have to shield once and you can just farm all the way down. At this point, you can swap out to preserve your Gramble for Machamp later. And then hopefully your Diggersby can deal with whatever comes in. So yeah, in comes Cofagrigus. We're going to throw Crunch, which should probably be shielded. And then swap into this Shadow Flygon. At this point, it's a bit tricky. You do want to shield. I'm throwing my move right away to stall the clock. because their timer is not up, or is up, and mine is not. So no shielding the Shadow Ball is kind of ballsy. I have to wait the timer on fully and then come in with the Diggersby and hope that they don't switch right away. And if they do, I need to be able to stall with Fire Punches. In this case, it's the 0 shield versus Machamp anyways, so I could just shield up my Diggersby and go for the Earthquake and win the game. Or I could just go for Fire Punches and stall the clock so I can get into my Ground Ball and win the game. So a couple options there. Okay, we have a Butterfree lead. This is pretty spicy. Running Confusion. But I'm going to swap to try and catch a move. And unfortunately I don't, and it charges up more. So I'm kind of scared. I don't know what it runs. It runs Bug Buzz. So that would have been a lot of damage. I'm glad I shielded that. But at the same time, Obstagoon comes back in. I let them throw their move. Oh, this is tough. The Night Slash doesn't quite take me out. I click on that Earth Power. If I'm only going to be able to get one move, rather get this Earth Power off and absolutely take out the Goon. So they knew it was lined up versus the Ground Ball. They probably weren't going to shield it. In this case, now I have this nice Fire type versus Ground type matchup. Yeah. I guess the theme of this video is forgetting about nukes that other Pokemon have. I completely forgot that. Ninetales can be running Solar Beam. This is pretty bad. I'm just going to throw Fire Punch. Gonna throw another Fire Punch because I know the Jig is up. They have shields still, and then I have to hope that I can beat this Ninetales to a move. Yeah, we're gonna shield up Weather Ball, and then hopefully they're not at the Weather Ball yet. They're gonna be able to get this Crutch and take this Ninetales out. So this game should not have been that hard. If I'd remembered there was Solar Beam, I probably should have shielded that up. Even an Overheat would hurt Diggersby a ton. So gonna pick up another 4 wins here, and not all these leads have been good. So there's been a couple good leads for sure, but there's been a couple extremely bad ones that we've had to get out of, including the Registeel lead that we're able to win anyways. Third set, we have Froslass lead. This is great too. People for some reason stay in this sometimes. In comes Nidoqueen, and you guys think Nidoqueen has been common? Well, Diggersby is probably the best answer to Nidoqueen in this meta. Look at that Earth Power, does absolutely nothing. You don't even have to worry about shielding. You can just go straight for Earthquakes. And even if I think you miss like 20 mud shots, you probably still win this matchup. You win it with half HP too. In comes Froslass. It's not like Froslass does that well against Diggersby. We've got these Fire Punches as well. And I was able to store up nearly a Fire Punch by the time I took out that Nidoqueen. So half HP Diggersby with a Fire Punch is not what they wanted to come into. In this case, in comes Registeel, and my goal here is to use Flygon as a shield. We're going to swap into Flygon, and they're going to have to throw energy at it. Obviously not going to shield. Flygon lives anyways, whereas Gramble obviously doesn't, but we're just going to go to the Dragon Claw, just try and get this chip damage on the Registeel. They're going to shield up the Dragon Claw even. Not going to shield my Flygon because I actually want it to go down. I want my Gramble in there. I don't want it to get farmed down by anything else. Gramble is going to be able to take down Registeel with hopefully just 1 shield. But if it has to spend 2, might be okay as well. Yeah, this Froslass doesn't have enough energy or HP to make it to the next move. And just going to be charmed. Everything's going to be charmed down. This really has shades of that original Shadow Victory Bell team. I try to build it in its image, right? We have that Shadow Charmer, so fast move, pressure, and in the back we have that matchup dependent tank that can kind of win all these neutral matchups and stomp some really bad matchups. In this case, we've got this switch in, Charm switch in onto Flygon. Poor Flygon, rest in peace. You've done your job well. You baited out the Diggersby answer, except not in this case, you really haven't. But I'm gonna come with Diggersby anyways. If I go with Granbull, this Wiggly is still just gonna beat my Granbull. So I'm gonna shield up this Ice Beam. And actually, I got a shield from the Dragon Tail or Dragon Claw, so I'm not that far behind in shields. We're gonna throw this Earthquake and charge all the way up, and then swap out into Granbull to take down that Wigglytuff. In this case, Greedent comes back in. These charms really hurt it, but it's so spammy that it's gonna win the 0 shield anyways. Well, no, it's not, because they're gonna let me get to a move for some reason and force a shield. In this case, I have to make a decision here. Looks like I'm letting Shadow Granbull go down. And in comes Mandibuzz. Oh, this game. Yeah, so this Greedent Charmer Mandibuzz team. Apparently it's a thing. Because I never saw it. I never saw it a single time. Until then. That was my first time seeing it. Let's see if we're going to find something new. Oh, look, another Greedent lead. And we're going to swap. And in comes Froslass. Okay, so probably a completely different team this time. There's nothing to worry about here. Just a Froslass, which is probably a worse swap in than Wigglytuff for Flygon because they can just get a ton of farm here and Granbull has to end up shielding. Maybe even twice, we'll see. I don't think twice. Yep, in comes the Greedent. And then if I see this Greedent lead again, I'm going to be a little bit more suspicious now, because if you guys can guess what is in the back from how I've been talking, probably should be shielding my Shadow Granbull here. Once again, it is, yeah, I try and swap to catch the move, which would have been potentially game winning, but instead I don't shield, and in comes the Mandibuzz. This time Snarl, not Air Slash, but same thing. Diggersby versus Mandibuzz in the back is not a good matchup. So these green leads have been the scariest. I've lost twice so far against this team and only once total otherwise. So yeah, lining up versus that green lead is pretty tough, but I am staying in just to see if I can actually win this matchup, because I do have a shield remaining. But look how much damage these fire punches do. This is Groudon versus Yveltal in Master League essentially, and it's not a pretty sight. Like, these mud shots just tickle, and fire punch does, yeah, almost nothing. But I was jaded. I thought I had the shield. I thought the shield would protect me from this, but yeah, these foul plays just do like twice the damage to these fire punches. And yeah, I really didn't want to give up on that. I didn't want to lose to the same team twice in a row, but I figured if this fire punch could take out Greedent, I could maybe get to 2 fire punches on that Mandibuzz before it got to a foul play. But it did not take out the Greedent, so plan failed. Yeah, fire punch doesn't even do that much damage to Greedent, so was not able to win that one. Sorry for, I feel like I wasted 1 minute of everybody's time right there. Next battle though, hopefully fare a little bit better. We have Sirfetch'd, the banana Sirfetch'd here. They're gonna swap into Golbat, and I don't have a very good answer to Golbat here. It's kind of tough. You need to get to that Dragon Claw before they get to their move, because then you can tell what they're going to do. If they let it through, they're going to go Shadow Ball for sure, right? Because there's no reason for them to bait Poison Fang if they can't get to their next move. So getting that Dragon Tail off, or getting your move off before theirs, is super important on Flygon. In comes a Bomb Snow. They're just trying to farm me down here, which is kind of annoying and scary. But we're going to get a shield back with Dragon Claw. Yeah, they want to keep this energy. They're going to make a decision on which Pokemon to go into. I'm going to go in Diggersby. This is because my Granbull already has a great matchup versus their Sirfetch'd, and they actually elect to switch it in, and their Sirfetch'd goes down in just 3 hits. It doesn't even get to a Leaf Blade. Sirfetch'd does not even get to a Leaf Blade at that point. So Granbull comes back in, deals with that Obama with no energy, and is just able to charm everything down at that point. Yeah, so this is what happens when they don't have a hard poison, or they only have 1 poison type or something like that. Oh, so this is maybe one of the worst leads we can get. Wigglytuff. So Wigglytuff is just a charmer that outbulks Granbull. So what's going to happen here? We're not going to get to a move. We can't switch. So instead I'm going to go with Diggersby and no shield this. Even though it's an Ice Beam, it's going to deal a lot of damage. I've realized my win condition is now on 2 shield Shadow Flygon. They've already put out a charmer, right? They probably don't want to deal with Dragon type in the back if they have a charmer in the lead. So we're just gonna shield up on this Toxicroak. We got a shield already from the Diggersby Fire Punch, baiting the Earthquake, and now we have Probopass come in. This is fantastic. I just need to be able to get to 2 Earth Powers versus Probopass. Actually, just kidding. Only 1 Earth Power. They don't shield. I guess hoping for the bait. I think if their only win condition there was if I baited, so good thing I didn't. And we're able to get another positive set here. 3 wins. Not ideal, but I mean, 2 of those losses were the exact same, almost the exact same team there. or the same core at least. Let's see how this does in the 4th set. Once again, a Dewgong lead. Not a big fan of these, having to shield twice, but at least you do get to rip a shield back off of them. Yeah, and technically, this will I think in this game this happens. Sometimes they'll just let this through, which is also fine. In this case, they come with Pidgeot. We're going to swap right away to Flygon. Kind of hoping that they switch out right away, or that they have a Flygon answer. They don't, so we're going to tank that drill run. Going to throw this Dragon Claw, see if they shield. And it's good to wear down the switch timer as well, right? So they do end up switching, actually, the THICC. And I'm just going to deal as much damage as I can with that Flygon. This is really the only point in which my Gramble can come in, so it's going to come in and just throw a Charm and soak up a move, so significant amount of damage, and shield saved. And then Diggersby should be able to come in, and their back line is both weak to ground, so once we took out that Ice type at the front, Diggersby kind of has free reign, and Diggersby with free reign is incredibly scary. I'm just farming up an absolute ton here. Taking a couple of Mud Bombs for free, doesn't really matter. Diggersby's still at 60% HP after all that. Beedrill comes back in, and you just have to make it 2 Fire Punches. Doesn't matter if Beedrill throws a move, you still have a shield. This Beedrill maybe has like a Drill Run at this point. There's no way it has 2 moves. And even if it did, I don't even think a Drill Run is going to KO Diggersby at this point. Not even going to be close. Yeah, I'm just going to throw the Fire Punch, and then in comes that THICC with another move, but I mean, Mud Bomb doesn't really do anything, so Diggersby's just gonna out-tank everything here. It's just gonna be a little thicker than everything else. But yeah, so yeah, this is usually how these games go. Either it ends with a Shadow Gramble Charm down, or a Diggersby out thick. Okay, we've got a Whiscash coming in. Gonna swap into Flygon as soon as the Whiscash comes in. I was trying to catch a Mud Bomb. I was successful at doing it a couple of times. But not in this case. Unfortunately, I do have to shield the Blizzard, but once I shield the Blizzard, I know I don't have to shield anything else. We're going for the full farm down. Shadow Flygon with energy is also pretty scary, so we'll see what they want to do when they come back in. The Mandibuzz. They come back in with the Mandibuzz. It's unlikely that they will shield anything, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, if they don't shield anything, I've set myself up to be able to pressure this Mandibuzz down into 0 shield, or it can take down my Flygon. So if they have something else that can't really deal with Flygon in the back, then they're going to want to blow a shield. Yeah, and they will. And in this case, I actually decide to shield my Flygon here because I'm going to be adding another move, and I'm going to be able to take down that Mandibuzz with a move, so that shield was pretty valuable. In this case, it's Nidoqueen in the back, so we're going to be able to get that Dragon Claw off and then go into Diggersby. And yeah, there's nothing they can really do at this point. Like, people have been staying in these games. I don't think they realize how terrible of a matchup this is for Nidoqueen. Yeah, like they're going to go for a Poison Fang and then try an Earth Power, but even that's probably only going to deal like 60% total of Diggersby's health. It's not going to be enough. They're going to need to go 2 Poison Fangs, maybe 3 before the Earth Power, and that's kind of just a huge stretch at that point, where Mudshots kind of just start chunking Nidoqueen down. It's not that tanky in Great League, so Whiscash lead. So same thing here. Going to try and catch a Mud Bomb on Flygon, so we're going to throw 3 Charms. That's when they're just at 5. So we're going to switch and sneak a Dragon Tail through, and in comes their own Granbull. Yeah, it's a bit scary. I gotta make a decision on which Pokemon I want to go in with. Theirs is only a regular Granbull, but because of how shadow damage works, it's kind of the same thing. My Charm Down is going to give me a move though, so I will be able to apply a shield off of this Whiscash. We're getting taken down. And then, like I said, we have Diggersby in the back for Whiscash. Whiscash, not bad against Diggersby, but it's not that great either. With this Mudshot damage and this Earthquake, this Whiscash is it's going to be in farm down range. So I won't need to throw another move at it. In fact, they're going to swap out. And in comes a Alolan Muck. So I have 2 shields. They're going to throw an Acid Spray for sure. So we're not going to shield that. We're going to save that to just crush their soul instead. You know, make them think that this game is unwinnable, so they don't shield and leave. Yeah, we're gonna shield this Mud Bomb though, because we are double debuffed at this point. But I don't think that KOs either. Double debuff is double damage, I think. Oh, yeah, not enough. That might be misinformation. Don't trust me on that one. 100% sure. Another Whiscash lead, so we're gonna try the same thing. And we're gonna be able to catch that move. They lagged a little bit at the beginning, so they were actually there's a low chance of catching that move. And in comes Froslass, so it seems like Froslass or a Charmer is always the switch in for Shadow Flygon. And we're gonna be able to get that Dragon Claw off. And swap in Gramble to take this Froslass down. It's already at a move though, so we're gonna shield anyways. And ideally make it to move here on Gramble versus this Whiscash after all is said and done. Except it's actually a Golbat. So we're gonna stall the timer a little bit with this Crunch. Kind of thought it would just be a Whiscash coming in. And the shield. And now I'm still in a bit tough, because what's gonna happen here is a Poison Fang is gonna come out. And then Whiscash is gonna come in, and Whiscash is gonna come in. They're gonna go for 2 Poison Fangs. I think they should have switched after 1 Poison Fang. Now I have quite an energy lead on this Whiscash. Going to be able to Earthquake this thing, which means that it looks like I'm only gonna have to shield once to take it down, which is good because double debuff Mud Bombs hurt a lot more than regular. I'm gonna throw a Fire Punch here and then just swap out to Gramble, I think, to clear those debuffs. Even though I can get Wing Attack down here by this Golbat, it doesn't really matter. This Golbat Nuke is Shadow Ball, which won't deal any damage to Diggersby, so it really kind of just has to go with these Poison Fangs and take Diggersby down. But they're resisted and kind of a weak move in terms of damage, so Diggersby is going to be able to outbulk both that Whiscash and that Golbat and essentially secure that game as well. I believe this is the last game of the set, and therefore this video. Poliwrath lead. Oh, this game, yeah. So I just didn't know them. I knew the moveset changes for Poliwrath as Scald now. I didn't think it got to Scald in 6 mud shots. So anyways, you live a Scald, but at what cost? In comes Registeel. Oh. Yeah, if I just survived there, just shielded the Scald, I would be able to swap into Shadow Flygon on this Registeel, and then into the Diggersby later for whatever they have in the, and have Shadow Gramble lined up with whatever they have in the back. In this case, because they're staying in, it was likely weak to Charm, so they do have this Obstagoon in the back, and I mean, Shadow Gramble would have had its way with this Obstagoon, but I didn't realize Scald came that early. So just remember, shield those big moves. If they're gonna get, you're running ABB, so if they're gonna get Gramble low, you want to shield those moves. Yeah, so like Scald, just shield it. In this case, I'm still fighting till the very end because I do think I have this chance. Because, well, Registeel is pretty weak to Diggersby. So Registeel comes back in. I bait with a Fire Punch because I believe I get to a Fire Punch and an Earthquake. And somehow, they call my bait here. So I really should have just went straight Earthquake. But at the same time, I'm not sure it KOs from that range anyways. It'd be very close. But yeah, I guess 2 ways I could have won this game. But yeah, this game, this team comp should have been very winnable. Unfortunately, it's going to be the only loss here. So I actually only think I lost 4 games in these 4 sets, and 2 of them were the same team. So yeah, the team performs very well. I enjoy playing it too. People may not enjoy playing against it just due to the Charmer, but I mean, hey, play what you enjoy. People, if they don't like to play against Charm, they should be running anti-Charm. It's as simple as that. So, either way, hopefully I don't inject this toxic team into too many of your minds today, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.